when we excavated Pessinus, we found a Gallo-Roman city. Gallo-Roman, Gallo is Gaulois. Gaulois are the tribes that were inhabiting Belgium. Belgium was not existing at the time, but were living in the territory of the future Belgium. Now, why did they go to the east? Well, it's probably for the good weather too, because they built temples in Pessinus, and they married with local women, established a family, and stayed over there. So when I hear tourism in Turkey, I think it started very early. Must have started in the 4th or 5th century before our era. And when we found Gallo-Romans in Pessinus, and they were quite well introduced, they knew they were coming there for a reason. In 1980, in September, my family and I were appointed to Ankara as second secretary at the Belgian embassy.
I adapt very easily to all situations, and because we've been living in so many countries, whatever happens is almost natural for me. So when we saw tanks and our children needed to enjoy themselves when we just arrived, I had to keep them busy, we decided to climb on the tank, which is of course a very crazy idea.
That embassy, I still remember the address, was at Nene Hatun Çadesi in Ankara. We found a home nearby, and so we settled for 3 years. I stayed in Turkey from September 1980 until July 1983. I do recall that the first weeks, the first days of our arrival in Ankara were troublesome. When we had luncheon at the restaurant near to the Belgian embassy, I was approached by a police officer, and he asked me if that Volkswagen minibus that was parked somewhere was ours. And I said, yes, what's wrong with it? Well, he said, we just defused a bomb under your vehicle. Because that was the time just before the general putsch that bombs went off in Ankara and in other cities in Turkey quite regularly. And one of the reasons why the putsch happened was that General Kenan Evren wanted to re-establish stability to the country.
I'm never scared. This is a part of my character. I'm certainly not scared of what's happening around me. Life and death is part of life. Every light is different. If you would buy some artwork in Turkey and bring it to Belgium, it would look different because the light is different here. And it fits there, where our colors fit here, actually. But I liked it very much. We've been very happy in Turkey, all of us.
prime minister, who was Leo Tindemans at the time, he visited Turkey in order to discuss with the Turkish authorities, that was then General Evren, the future of the relations between Turkey and Europe. There was a customs agreement at that time that goes back to the 1960s. And the customs agreement permitted that all Turkish goods that entered Europe were imported custom-free of charges. And that worked for roughly 20-25 years. But then, obviously, Europe and Turkey wanted more. They didn't want only a custom union, but they wanted to go further and see how Turkey would eventually become a member of the Euro Club. That never happened.
Every weekend, whenever we had time, that's why we bought a bus, a Volkswagen bus. Yeah. So with some friends, we could go to places and archaeological places, other places, and every weekend we went to visit. It's magnificent. Also the weather, of course, is beautiful. Yeah. I was very close. I was very close to everyone because Turkish people are extremely generous, and they invited us straight away for chai, and so since we studied the language, we could talk to them about their culture, about their history, about art, about music. I love Turkish music as well. Once we had a very, very easy contact also with my husband, who was archaeologist. That helped, of course, because we knew much more about the culture than maybe some people.
The first time I went to Turkey was in order to prepare my PhD at Ankara University. And I prepared my PhD because my subject was the Hittites. And the Hittite civilization originated in Turkey. So I had to be close to Boğazköy, which was the Hittite capital in the old days. And I stayed there for about 3 years, until 1969. In the meantime, I received an invitation to join an excavation team from my Ghent University in order to assist them excavating another ancient city in western Turkey called Pessinus. And I worked there for 1.5 years. Unfortunately, I had to return to Belgium in '69 because I still had to do my military duty, and I couldn't postpone it anymore. So I went back in '69 and had to wait until 1980. After changing professions, I became a diplomat.
The children went to school, British school, and so that worked out beautifully. Our street, the people around us, we became friends straight away. The owner of the house was so gentle, he brought us plants and flowers. The contact made us feel home, really home. I started cooking there. Why? In winter time, the kitchen was nice and warm, and the dining room was a little bit cold. I told the cook that, I had a very nice friend where he could go and work, and I say, I'm starting because I'm feeling cold here, and the vegetables, the fruit, and everything was so beautiful. I thought that was the place where I would cook. So I bought 13 books in different languages, and I started cooking there, and family was happy.
Fabulous, fabulous. We went very often. My wife will remember the plate that we ordered always in a Ulus restaurant. Do you remember how it was called? Iskender. That was Iskender, and the best Iskender we ever had was at Ulus in Ankara. So there we learned the Turkish kitchen, because we didn't have any idea how the Turkish culinary habits are. But we learned the Turkish kitchen, and we loved it. Excellent, all excellent moments we had there for, well, I could say 7 years, but especially with my family, the 3.5 years we spent in Turkey, in Ankara. We learned Turkish in the old days, and of course, günaydın, çok teşekkür ederim. Ankara'da oturduk, hace 20 años, Kırlangıç sokakta.
Yes, iyi akşamlar, güle güle, çok memnun oldum. Yes.
People in general will come for the sunshine and the beaches. But there is more to that, and I'm convinced that the majority of tourists visiting Turkey are coming there for other reasons too. They want to explore the country, its historical and archaeological richness. They want to come and see Pessinus, where we and my Ghent University team excavated. They want to come and see Sagalassos, another major Belgian excavation that was sponsored by the Turkish authorities and by the University of Louvain. And that is still going on. As a matter of fact, I've met Mark Walkens. That is the one who set in motion the excavations at Sagalassos. I've met him in Pessinus. We worked together in the excavations sponsored by Ghent University, and where I worked in the 60s. He was there too. And I met him again 15 years later in Turkey as a diplomat. And he stayed at the same hotel where we are staying, Dedeman Oteli. So he was another witness to this military putsch. He was there, so we discussed all these matters with him, with other people that were staying and that were having breakfast with us. There was a military putsch at that time, and we were all taken by surprise. The family and my family and I were lodging at the hotel on a Sunday morning. I still remember the name of that hotel, Dedeman Oteli. Probably it's still there. And we learned that all communications by telephone, by telex, were broken because of the military putsch, and the leader of the military putsch was General Kenan Evren. So we discussed it around the morning table when we had breakfast. Didn't know what much to do, but then I remembered that whatever happens during a military, even during a military putsch, is that communications at embassies are never cut.